Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to 100% Mags. So, of course, before I start off this video, I do want to say my thoughts and prayers to the former Newcastle United brother in, of course, Michael Newbury, who passed away on the 30th of December. Of course, it was his birthday as well. So my thoughts go out to his family and friends, and, of course, to Michael Newbury himself, as, of course, he has passed away and joined the 27 club. He was a very promising youngster in Newcastle United as well, before he left for a 2-year spell in the Icelandic League with Victor Ulfskrev, I believe they're pronounced. Sorry if I have butchered that name, but then he went on, of course, to move to Northern Ireland to play for teams like Linfield and, of course, his last club, Cliftonville. So my thoughts go out to Michael Newbury, and of course his family and friends in this hard time, and I hope they find strength and the will to live the life that Michael Newbury would have wanted them to live. Of course, with that being said, lads and lasses, we'll move on to talking about, of course, some transfer news. Now, Alonso Matia has, of course, come out and said that Everton are interested in a swap deal with Newcastle. The players involved are, of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Kieran Trippier. Not sure Newcastle's stance on this as of yet, but I think Newcastle might be tempted to move Trippier on. But I don't know if we'll be moving him on for a swap deal with Everton for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't see where Dominic Calvert-Lewin would really benefit us, to be honest. I mean, we've got Alexander Isak up there. Callum Wilson at the moment is out. But I don't see Dominic Calvert-Lewin wanting to switch Everton and come into play in Newcastle as a backup to Isak. I couldn't see that. So I really don't see where that deal would, benefit us as a club. Obviously, it would benefit Everton because they'd be getting an experienced fullback in Kieran Trippier into their team, which would obviously help them on the defensive side of things. But for us, I don't see where there is a plus in that for me. But that's just my opinion. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Moving on to the next piece of news, and this is where we've been hearing a lot of late over the past few windows that Almiron's being linked away to many different clubs. There was talk not that long ago that he was, going to be moving out to Saudi Arabia to play in the Saudi League, but then that never materialised, because Miggy didn't want to make that move. Now we're hearing again, Alonso Matia putting out this, of course, is saying that Newcastle have reportedly received a 7 million offer from Palmeiras for Miggy, agent fees and wages an issue. So deal unlikely to progress at this stage, according to what Alonso Matia is saying. But other than that, there is another one for Miggy, and it is Olympiacos have made an approach to sign Almiron. Talks are ongoing and are currently positive between both clubs, and Newcastle are looking, of course, according to what Alonso Matia is saying, Newcastle are looking for around 8 million for Almiron. I think, to be honest, if we can get somewhere around 10 to 15 million maybe, that may be pushing it, the 15 million, but around the 10 million maybe mark for Almiron. It's not that long ago that he had a fantastic season for Newcastle. So, if we could get Olympiacos or Palmeiras to, foot that bill and be able to come in and buy Almiron for that amount of money, then, I think it would be a good deal. I could maybe see Almiron moving to somewhere like Olympiacos or Palmeiras, to be honest, because the two areas where he would benefit hugely. He would be an immense player in them leagues, so I could see them deals working out. There's also other talks of Almiron to Spain, talks of him to America. You know, there's always talks of Almiron moving away. Of late, there has always been talks of Almiron moving away from Newcastle United. And that is because at the moment, you've got the likes of Murphy, who has had an absolutely amazing season. Almiron is now towards his back end of his years in the game. So now would probably be the right time for we to maybe move him on, try and recoup some of the money that we did pay on him from Atlanta, and try and recoup some of that and put it back into finding somebody for that right midfield position. But at the minute, I don't see, where Almiron would be breaking into the Newcastle side when Murphy's playing so well at the moment. I really don't. So there could be more to this Olympiacos one. Let's just keep a hold and, see what happens on it. But I've got to say, it's going to be a busy window. Looking at what we need in this window, we could do with somebody to come in at that right centre-back role. That's something that we were looking at last window. Unfortunately, we were unable to bring in Mark Guehi because of the situation that was going on with Palace and them keep moving the fences on the fee. So we're still needing to find somebody to come in to that right centre-back role as a replacement for Shaw. Moving forward, of course, because Shaw's now coming towards the back end of his game. Not that Shaw isn't still doing fantastic, because he's playing amazing. He's playing some really good football, but we do need to be looking at bringing in somebody sooner rather than later for that right centre back role, especially with Shaw getting towards the back end of his career. And for me at the moment, the fullbacks perfectly fine. I don't think we really need anything there. We've got Tino Livramento, we've got Lewis Hall, two of the best fullbacks in the world right now, and I can't see them being, dislodged from the team at the moment. But there's always room for a bit of competition, so maybe we could have a look at that. But I don't think we'll be looking at that in this window. For this window, I'd be looking at bringing in somebody to be a backup to Isak right now, because Callum Wilson's out. We need somebody to be coming in there as a backup. Obviously, we've got Will Asula, who has barely had that much game time and is a really good, promising talent. But we need to also have somebody that is a ready to go second player, or even somebody that is a first player and doesn't mind playing backup, and they're ready to go. At the moment, for me, on the right midfield side of things, we could maybe have a look at somebody like Brian Mbeumo at Brentford, bringing him in, but I think Brentford's going to be asking quite a bit of money for that. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. We are looking at a number of other talents that are out there right now as well. There's also at the moment Newcastle in talks with St Mirren for a young player from them. Of course, obviously he'll end up going into the youth team, but if we look at what we've got in the youth team as well, we've got the likes of Alfie Harrison down there. Maybe he could get a shout to come up to the first team. He's been doing really well down in the youth setup. There's a few other players down there as well. We've still got Lewis Miley as well to come back to full fitness. We've still got Botman to come back to full fitness. Emil Kraft still to come back to full fitness as well. So for me, January window, we need to be looking at offloading some of the older players, or some of the players that we know for a fact is now the right time, to strike whilst the iron's hot and get them off the books whilst we can get a good amount off of them. And then, of course, put that money back into the team to help improve the areas around the team that are desperately in need of improvement. Obviously, at the moment, the right midfield position is doing well with Murphy there, but we do need to be looking at players to come in to that position, of course, going forward, and the same with the right centre-back role as well. The goalkeeping side of things, I think at the moment, Nicky Pope is still out, but he will be coming back. Dubravka's doing pretty good at the moment as well in that position. But we do also need to maybe be looking at a younger goalkeeper to come in, somebody of a European potential, somebody that's got that ability to be able to play in the European games and the Champions League games. Somebody that can come in and be a rock at the back for us. And at the moment, there's only quite a few players like that out there that Newcastle would maybe be interested in. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. To end off the video, that is a question I'm going to pose to you guys and lasses today is, of course, who would be your number one target for Newcastle United to sign in this January window? Usually in the January window, you don't see many signings happening. It's usually in the summer window, but I think with the way we're playing at the moment, I think we might look to strengthen a little bit in areas that need it, of course. But who would be your number one target in this January transfer window? Until next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and how are the lads?